Welcome to Joe Jacking with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com. Again, that's IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, B.O.B. Bob, but I will go by the name of Robert Lee or Jr. if you insist on being formal. And as always, from the South Side of Chicago, Illinois, give it up for my main man, Martise TC Wash Sr.
In the building.
TC, what's up?
What up, Bob?
What's
man?
up, black man?
How was your week, man? All good, all good.
Man, my week was good, man. I can't complain, man. I got caught in a Michigan snowstorm today, but it's all good. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something real funny about my week this week. I want to pose this early because I want to get it out the way early. I went to a gas station in Chicago on, I think, 159th, and met this African guy, and I asked him, where was you from? He told me he's from Ghana. You know, he said he's from Ghana. I said, really? I said, how do you like being over here? I love it. I love it because opportunity, family, he just went on this whole, man, almost a 10-minute tantrum about how he loved being in America. You know, and I was like, that's funny, you know, because you know, my thing with being in America is a lot of times with blacks, it's about perspective. So in case y'all don't know, we have a completely loaded show today. We got our man Lewis Fowler coming on the show today. And I want y'all to really zoom in, share this video, take your time because Lou Fowler is blessing Jaw Jacking with something that no other show can say that they had. He's sharing a story about the death of his brother. And it's the first time he spoke about it in 11 years. He hadn't even spoke about it. He never made it official. So his conversation with us, we don't want to make it gimmicky. I want him to have a platform where he really gets to tell us about what it's like as a victim's family. And so it's did our hearts in that sense because we always looking for progressive ways to find solutions, to have a dialogue. And there's no clear-cut solution to being a victim of a family. There's no clear cut. We need to do this. We need to do that. So Lewis Fowler is on here with us today, man. We're really excited about that. That story of Africa reminded me of what we was going to do today. Also my week, Facebook. You seen this Facebook stuff about what's the dude name who owned Facebook? Zuckerberg. Yeah, man, sold all everybody got their little profile sold out all to other people. He had a hearing with the Senate. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw something.
So if you got something on Facebook that you don't want out there, it's out there now. You know, it's out there now. If you got something on Facebook you don't want out there, it might be out there. It might be sold to some foreign country, you know. And that's funny though, because there's a lot of people that follow me on Facebook that's from other countries. I don't know if y'all ever paid attention to the people that follow y'all on Facebook. They're always from some other country. And that's another thing that's happened to me this week that got my attention. You know what I mean? And Trump bombing Syria. Oh, man, look, Trump bombing Syria.
Yeah.
What you think of that, TC?
I mean, it's hard to believe the news and what they put out there. But they put out there the reason was Syria was over there using chemical weapons on the people over there.
Right.
And so he felt he had to intervene.
Hey, my question for the day is what?
He do nothing different than any other president that be bombing them countries getting their business.
My question, I'm going to ask y'all
something new because Trump did it. Let's be honest. There's a lot of time presidents bomb them countries because what they did to their people. So he ain't doing nothing different.
But my thing is as a black man, okay, because we can't speak for as anything else. As a black man, how does it make you feel about the word American? That's a question I'm posed to the audience. How do y'all feel about being, you know, what is your pride you draw about the word American? You know, share with us on Facebook. If you want to chime in on that, you can call in. The telephone number is 708-223-8953. You can call in or you can comment on Facebook. If you're listening to us on Facebook Live, there's other options to listen to our show. You can listen to the show on IntellectualRadio.com. And then all of the shows that run on Intellectual Radio, they'll be live streaming on Intellectual Radio. You can also listen to the show on YouTube Live. Go to YouTube Live, go Intellectual Radio, and then that'll give you all the live streaming shows on Intellectual Radio. The Spreaker app, you can do the Spreaker app, Spreaker Spreaker. I had to say it like that because it almost sounds like speaker. Spreaker app. It's an audio listening, so it really picks up. It picks up all the words we mess up. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes
The
just some little
Spreaker
plugs
app.
out. Let me get my little plugs out
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
get your plugs out.
I'm gonna plug out to the cigar roll, cigar lounge, hookah lounge. We're be open up soon, shortly. 164th and Halsted next to Club SLR. Shout out to R. Russell. Shout out to we'll get Trish, but traveling with Trish, a little travel agency thing, get us some love. Of course, the New Sandpipers Lounge Dalton, come check it out. Cousin Chucky doing his thing out there. Always forever good entertainment, my man K Guns, that we do. And also Joe Jacking, because we get Intellectual Radio, Earl, them all. They plug and love, and that's
yes,
cool.
we do.
But
Yes, we do.
Joe Jacking too. Support Joe Jacking. I love
right.
us. So there we go. Go on, Bob.
May 26th, y'all. We got an event coming up. We got a fundraising event out of Linwood Bowling Alley from 6 o'clock to 9 p.m. Make sure you mark your calendars. Come out there and come hang out with Jaw Jack. And we inviting a bunch of our guests that's been on the show. So we doing a collaboration effort with our guests and some of the other radio personalities to come out there and just have fun. Have fun. My birthday happened to be May 25th, so it's by coincidence that it happened the day after. It's a coincidence, you know what I mean? It's just a coincidence. But anyway, man, we got another guest today that I don't want to forget to mention. I know she's gonna smack me because she got a very good stern listening style. She really listens. My girl Benita Asset is gonna be in the building today, man. Gonna help us navigate through this conversation about some of the racial conversations. So we look forward to her. She's a phenomenal mindset when it comes to this subject. She is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I like her natural hair. She be rocking natural hair and stuff like that. She's knitting right now. I don't know what she's knitting.
Yeah, I don't even look at that.
I don't know what's going on. She brought it to
Get
Jaw
Out.
Jacking. She's just knitting over there in Jaw Jacking like she's the
Get Out.
mother of the West Side or something. Like she's the mother of the West Side. Anyway, on the other side of the break, we're gonna bring our man in. Y'all make sure y'all, wherever you're sitting at, make sure when we bring him in, y'all bring him in with us because he's doing a lot by bringing his story to Jaw Jacking.
Yes, sir.
On the other side of the break, you're listening to Jaw Jacking with Bob and TC
on IntellectualRadio.com.
back to Joe Jackson with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com. Again, the call-in number is 708-223-8953. And if you are listening to the show on Facebook, make sure that you know that there's some other options for whatever reason that Facebook cut off for whatever reason. Because Facebook got us in a twist right now. But you can listen to the show on IntellectualRadio.com. And you can also listen to the show on the Spreaker app. Download the Spreaker app. It's an audio listening tool. And you also can listen to the show on YouTube on Intellectual Radio. And you subscribe to that, and that'll have you plugged in with all the shows that's on Intellectual Radio.
Really noble.
Man, TC, let's go ahead and real quick.
Bring him in.
From Texas, Chicago, and Chicago Heights, let's give it up for Lou Fowler in the building. Lou Fowler, what's up?
Man, just chilling.
Deal, Pickle.
Chilling.
What's going on, man? I'm glad you was able to make it back out this week, man. You know, last week we over-explained. You know, we over-explained.
All that Bobby act like you don't owe nobody. That's our business.
You know, I know he always. I know,
but you know, Bob the good guy. So go ahead, tell everybody our business.
That's the perception. I'm the good guy. That's the perception.
TC gonna be TC all day.
All day long.
My good, my bad guy.
My business.
Well, we brought you on because you have first of all an extraordinary tragic situation that you went through. Your brother, his name was Benjamin, and you're gonna have to say his last name.
His last name would be Morogi, which is Nigerian. From
Nigerian.
Benin.
Okay.
His father's from Benin.
I want you to tell us it was in April 26,
Yes.
2006.
Yeah, I think so.
It was April
vaguely it was kind of
2006.
tragic. So when it comes to the years, it's kind of blurred. Man.
Yeah.
But I know that April 26th would be 12 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kind of like step by step of what you could recollect on what happened with your brother and the situation with the police officer. They ended up costing him his life this day.
Well, first of all, my brother was from Madison, Illinois. Went to Rich South. Went to Rich South High School. Was a top football player. You know, he was just trying to find his way, and he was in college at College of DuPage, going to school, and getting ready to get out of there. And I think he was either going to Western or Eastern to try to play football. So he was a pretty good player. You know, good guy, no background, none of that. You know. From my understanding, he had a situation where it was a young lady that was from Joliet that he used to date. And basically, I guess she had some issues or whatever. My brother was a very nice guy, one of those guys that was very caring or whatever. And what happened was he had a ex-girlfriend from a high school sweetheart. And he was actually, I guess she named her son after him. And he was babysitting. Was going to take this young man to Chuck E. Cheese, from my understanding. And the young lady from Joliet came over unexpectedly, and he was in a tub. And she saw the little boy, and she got upset. I guess she figured he was back dating the high school sweetheart, but that wasn't the case, from my understanding. And she started arguing with him, and my brother told her to leave. Well, she was upset, and what she ended up doing was she ended up going next door to some of his teammates, because he went to College of DuPage, so it happened out in Glen Ellen, Illinois, which is actually right down the street from here, down on Roosevelt Road. My brother proceeded to get back in the tub, so she had I think the young man might have been about 4. It might not even been 4. And what ended up happening was she made a call, and she asked one of the guys next door, which I think was a teammate, because she used the phone, and he used the phone. She used the phone, I'm sorry. When she used the phone, she said her fiance and her got into a domestic dispute. So he wasn't engaged to her or anything like that. Well, the first time, it was a guy there from Ohio that was a friend of his that went to school with him. What ended up happening, my brother was in the tub. He heard a door knock. My brother said, answer the door. The guy answered the door. It was the young lady from Joliet. I don't know her name. I met her once. What ended up happening, my brother told the friend, tell her, just go ahead on or whatever. So she left. But remember, she made the phone call to the police officer that it was a domestic dispute like that, because she was upset. So he got back in the tub. Well, the second phone call, the second door knock was another knock. He got out the tub with a towel on his waist, and he went to the door. Opened the door, he thought it was a young lady, but it wasn't the young lady. It was the police officer who was Jason Bradley. He's now a state trooper right now, which is kind of funny, but he's a state trooper. What ended up happening, they ended up having some words back and forth. He told my brother to come out, but my brother had a towel on his waist, because he had the towel. He was in the tub when he came to the door. We walked my brother out into the courtyard in that complex where they stayed, and everybody saw it. And, what was going on, whatever. People were coming out. It was on the news. They talked about it. It's actually a Mexican lady and her little son. And as he had my brother walking in to through the courtyard to wherever the people were, he pretty much, the little Mexican boy came up to my brother, because my brother always spoke to him or played with him. My brother picked him up, played with him, and put him down. And then they proceeded to talk to the young lady, and she said whatever. I guess he was telling her, telling the police, I don't live. She doesn't live. I live by myself. I go to school, did the college DuPage, and whatever. After that, we proceeded to walk my brother back to the apartment. Well, when we walked my brother back to the apartment, the little kid that he was keeping, who was named after his name was Benjamin, what they call him Benji. The police officer actually, was going back and forth, and he was telling him, she don't live here, I live here, and I didn't do anything. I told, just telling her basically the story. But the police officer was adamant about him and coming out, but he never called for backup or anything like that. Well, the little boy, I guess, seeing that they were going back and forth, walked up to my brother on the side of him, my brother picked him up. So when he picked him up, the officer told him to put the boy down. He's like, why I'm not doing anything? He said, put the boy down. He didn't put him down. What happened is he ended up macing my brother, but he maced the baby also. So he was in the tub. My brother ran back. You remember, he got out the tub, so his water still in the tub. So he ran back to the tub and tried to splash water on his face and the baby's face. The baby was screaming. The roommate, not the room, I'm sorry, the friend was still in the room watching the whole thing. But what ended up happening is he was spraying. The police officer proceeded into the bathroom and started punching him in the back of the head and then kicking him in his back, because supposedly he knew some type of martial arts. I don't know. But they said there was so much pepper spray that had been sprayed, and they had to actually leave the door open.
Who knew the martial arts?
The police officer, supposedly.
The police officer.
That's what they say.
Okay.
And so he was kicking.
Let me make sure I understand this part of the story right. Let me see. So your brother took the baby back into the bathroom.
Yes, back in the bathroom.
And he was washing his face off with water.
And the baby.
He had the baby, and he was doing the baby too.
While the guy continuously sprayed them while they were in the bathroom.
And while they were in the bathroom.
Knee. Yeah, he was on his knee.
So they were still spraying the pepper spray while he was in the bathroom. It was
only one officer. It was steady spraying them.
Okay.
So
he picked the baby up and ran back in the house.
He was already in the house. He was standing at the front door when
I got you.
Yeah. When
they sprayed him, he was already standing in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he took the baby back to the bathroom.
Because he automatically turned around.
Got you. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it was splashing the water on his face or whatever, kicking him. So eventually, after so many punches and so many kicks, they say my brother stood up, pushed the guy off of him. The towel, of course, fell off, so he was naked. No guns, no drugs, no nothing like that. And my brother tried to go to the room to put some clothes on. So they say he went to the closet. When he went to the closet, that guy was telling him to step away from the closet, but he couldn't see. They said he kept saying, I can't see. And he grabbed my brother. So after so many kicks and so many punches and so many people, he retaliated. But the gun was out already, but he couldn't see the gun. So when they fell, he shot my brother point blank range through the eye. I think he hit him in his ear, went to the top of his head or something. And then even that, he was still alive. They left him there and they let him bleed to death. You know? It's kind of crazy because
I want to talk about kind of like the overall impact that this had on your entire family.
Mhm.
Because your father, Benjamin's
Mhm.
dad,
Mhm.
basically, he was a assistant principal, a principal. He was a principal of a school.
Yes, principal, CPS principal.
Right.
Yes.
We'll talk about sort of like what happened to him because of.
I think it was a lot of backlash because of that stuff. You know, it's my personal feeling. I think it had a lot to do with him not being in CPS. I believe that because it was, you know, it was all over the radio. He was standing up for his son and what he believed. My parents were. They reached out to Reverend Meeks and NAACP. Yeah, I had to laugh when I said that.
Really?
Yeah, and they didn't even back it. They didn't do anything about it. And then once they found out it was a high profile crime or whatever situation, because it was like on the news for like 2 months, then they tried to reach out to my family, but initially, no, they didn't. You know, so I mean, you know,
What part of the story, what part of this story didn't seem acceptable to want to take on for, like, say, like Reverend Meeks? What part of the story do you remember that had certain resistance? Go
you
ahead.
talking about as far as Reverend Meeks? I'm talking
Just off the
backing up?
story, because off the story, it's like me listening to the story, I can hear a bunch of stuff that could go, yeah, but why did this? Why did that? I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can hear it. So, I don't want to make the family the victim. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are part of the victim. Y'all got victimized too.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, from y'all standpoint, being a family, what parts of the story that was putting y'all at order, like, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? He was the victim. What parts made y'all say you couldn't believe that this was coming out of somebody's mouth?
The fact that they said that he supposedly baptized himself in the pond. They tried, what he did. First of all, I'm a true believer that based off the fact that his father is from Nigeria, that had a lot to do with it. I believe that it turned out to, they say, it wasn't a racial situation, but it was, because even when we rally in front of the police station and DuPage, it was a lot of racial stuff being said. The police officers were saying stuff, so when I see stuff on TV and they say, oh, that's not true, that is true. These people aren't lying. But that part, trying to make somebody out to, first of all, you're trying to find out if the person had any background. So like that movie, that a new Netflix series, 7 Seconds. I can relate to this. Like, first thing you want to do is you want to try to find a negative out about somebody and see if you got anything. Have you ever been arrested? Has he ever had any domestic situations? Have you ever had a drug problem? That's the first thing they do. And to try to cover up with themselves. And
so let's put the families on the defensive.
Yeah, they put
because they're trying to find some justifiable reason on why that action that they used was appropriate.
Yeah, things like, why not call for backup? Why spray somebody? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The lady don't even live. That's not the fiance. But you put on the fiance. You put it. He was 6'3", 200-something pounds. He was like 6'2", 170 pounds. They do all that type of stuff. And so when I see it on TV now, because that was 12 years ago, it'll be 12 years in April 26th of this year. When I see it on TV, automatically I'm saying, yeah, I mean, just like the Trayvon Martin. The story is similar. I felt overpowered. He was overpowered. So I had to do what I had to do to defend myself. So rather than call a police officer, you use, deadly force. And it's the same. So all the stories sound the same. They all saying they had to defend themselves. I had to defend myself, and you make it a racial situation. I mean, it is what it is, but we all know, you can change the situation, or you can, who are you to make a decision whether somebody lives or dies? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of the things I want to talk about also, the police officer. So
what happened
questions.
to him, man?
I know. Go ahead, T.
That's what came to my mind. Like, when I'm listening to this story about the mace, and they made so much, and it's a baby present. I mean, what happened to the police officer?
Well, basically, he turned out they promoted him. He left there. He's a state trooper right now, Illinois state trooper, Jason Bradley. It's my first time ever mentioning his name. And he had the help of Joe Burkett, which was a state's attorney, who was DuPage County state's attorney. Now he's a judge. And they harassed my family. they sent pictures and letters to my family, like, thanks for lending your son to us to be a target practice. I had white friends, and we played sports together. We grew up together, went to school together, and they my friends. I'm not prejudiced like that, But when I see them talk about this and act like, they're not the victims,
Sending you letter, family letters like that.
Send a letter, send Wheaton police to my mom's house. One of my sisters was there, and basically kind of trying to threaten them and kind of, make you feel, shake you down type thing, Yeah, they did a lot of that stuff. Like I said, I stayed out of the media. They also took pictures of my siblings and put them in the post office and DuPage County. If you see these people, notify DuPage County Police.
Why? What was the reason?
I guess they felt threatened. This guy, he was a young guy. He's a young white guy.
Timothy, Jason Bradley.
Jason Bradley, but now he's a state trooper. As a matter of fact, I was telling you, he's a guy. I don't know if you remember on 94, they had a truck driver hit a state trooper and kill him. It was his partner or whatever. And I was watching him on TV, and he was praising him. I'm thinking to myself, this dude is a state trooper. But also on top of that, they also put my brother's situation. That's what I want to call the situation, on their website of how to handle, I guess you want to say, hostile people. So you can go Google it, and as a police officer, you can actually see my brother's picture there, his graduation picture, whatever, the picture they had. This is something that's on the website for life. Same situation. During the trial, I didn't go to trial at all. I was extremely upset and extremely angry. I didn't want to, I didn't want to be sitting there. I didn't want to see his face. I saw his face. You never seen mine, though, but I saw his face. But, at the end of the trial, of course, when, he beat the trial and went federal, he beat that too. And
what was the reason they gave?
Yeah.
What was the reason that they gave?
It's the same reason that they give all the time. They feel that their lives were threatened, and then on the other hand, they have this oath. It's like, dead man tell no tales. He can't defend himself. He's dead. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what they had going on there. I mean,
if you up for it, first of all, let me say that my deepest condolences to you, your family,
thank you,
your parents.
Appreciate you sharing this, man.
No, this is a real story. First of all, regardless of how the details may sound to people and whatever, I'm saying my condolences to y'all deeply. This is if you up for it, I do want to, later on we want to transition into a conversation that, if your courage will allow, that we will have concerning these racial issues, these stereotypes, and the overall impact for blacks that's in America right now. What does it mean? And if we can just squeeze a little of your courage a little farther, that'd be cool, because we need it.
Of course.
We need it for this conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing for us to sit up on panels like this and platforms like this to be talking yada yada yada, but we don't have people that the impact hit their household, unraveled that household. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
See, we just Monday morning quarterbacks.
Exactly.
So I want to bring, I want to take a break, and I want to bring Benita in.
Okay.
Because some things you said, we since you got the entire story out, with the gist of the story out, I want to bring you in so we can open up the conversation to a whole different ways, and you can weave the story in the rest of the way however you want to, if you got the courage to do it.
Yeah, I got the courage. Like I said, I'm basically here. I never spoke about it. My friends that are close to me, they know about the story. We walk around every day like it doesn't have an effect on my family, but it does. My whole family. But the reality of it is every time I see somebody's son, daughter, even a young lady, can't even think of her name, that's from Chicago that got killed in Texas.
Sandra Bland.
Sandra Bland. I mean, just all that. I mean, at the end of the day, the stories are the same. The Trayvon Martin is the same. We react like we're angry when a white officer kills a black officer, but a black male or black person, should I say. But at the end of the day, we study killing each other. But I feel like when I hear other families going through it, just like the verdict in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
I mean, all this stuff is on camera. And back then, my brother was, when it happened to him, was no cell phone video. That was 12 years, and I think in that month they might have had about 3 or 4 other young black men from Chicago that got killed the same way. And it's crazy. I mean, a young man from TF South got killed last year, went to school with one of my daughters. I mean, it's over the top. And then you beat the case. And then later on that night, you got Sacramento, a guy gets shot 20 times for standing in the back of his grandparents' house. And that's kind of what made me feel that way. So every time we see it, me, including my family, my mother steady goes to the cemetery 2-3 times a week, because she ain't gonna forget about her child. That's just how it is. 22 years, my parents raised my brother, and you take him away, and we gonna put him in the dirt, and we ain't gonna forget about him. So
he had children, right?
My brother had he had a 3. She was 3 months old.
3 months old.
My niece Jade. Yep.
Right.
Never got the opportunity to visit her father. Only got one picture. It was when he was older.
How many siblings do you have?
Wait a minute. It's 4 girls.
I didn't mean for that question to be loaded.
I had to get it right. Well, it's 4 girls, and then me and my brother. And then we have a brother named Deshaun Foster. Yeah.
I was just trying to gauge the impact.
My question I want to before we change this, bring up Anita. My question to you was like, when you said you wasn't there when it came to the verdict.
Nah, most definitely.
Was you surprised that was the verdict?
Yeah, yes, I was. And being from Texas, you know what I'm saying? We moved to Chicago for a better life, supposedly, to kind of get away from things like that, I think I was, because of all the stuff that happened, but the news, the news is something else. The stories they put out there is extremely drastic. They'll make you lose your mind. They embarrass you. They don't, because they're out to sell. We want to be the number one, news channel. So, but yeah, I was a little shocked, but then I wasn't shocked. You know what I'm saying?
What made you shocked?
What made me shocked? The fact that he didn't have any gun. He didn't have a gun. He didn't have background, guns, drugs, nothing. It was just a call that was a random call from somebody else. And then the crazy part was the guy that was his friend that was there. They ran him back he was from Ohio. They ran him back to Ohio. So he was the eyewitness to everything. So they told him, we can make it neat, and we can make it dirty for you. And his parents also. So he's a black guy. His parents also said, don't get involved. He went back to Ohio.
What the girlfriend your brother was dating? What was her name? What was her race?
She was black.
She was black. Because I was curious about that.
Yeah, she was I think she was a little touched, because when I first met her, I told my brother, I said, hey man, she a little different. I'm gonna leave her alone. But he felt sorry for her. So my mother said, I feel sorry for her. That was the day before he got killed. I said, what was you doing with her? I feel sorry for her. He was just that kind of guy. He's passionate. He said, she got some issues, man. Mm-hmm. That's all. I just feel sorry for her.
So the media tried to spin it as if he was the aggressor.
Of course. Of course.
He had to shoot him.
He was overpowered. Oh, wow. Was the word. He was overpowered. He feared for his life. The same thing with Trayvon Martin. The same thing with all these other brothers that get killed through the police, brutality. It's the same thing.
Was there anything that your brother was going through that possibly you didn't know about that had him, in a certain sense, extra emotional?
Extra emotional. The only thing I would think my brother would have had him extra emotional would probably be that you were this big time football player and you are trying to fight your way up the ladder to get to what, since this is what you want to do, you want to play professional football. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing I think would probably have challenged him, because if you're a top football player, anybody play football at that time, you still hold receiving records at Rich South. And everybody knew who he was. It was like when his funeral, it took us like 30 minutes before we were able to, get the actual burial to put him in the ground. Mm-hmm. It was very hard. When you run into his friends, they got tattoos and stuff, but pictures of him and things of that sort. But at the same time, just like any young man, you trying to get there,
I would be frustrated too if I'm in a town and then I got my
I mean,
baby.
yeah, I was thinking that
You
too.
know, I got
Yeah,
my
I get
if you can spray my baby, I mean, spray me. You know, if you did that, that would bring any kind of frustration because that stuff make you.
Exactly. And you spraying a child, but you know that was you know, and then it was like your body. He was left. They was shot, and then he was left basically to die. I mean, if he would have lived, probably would have been a vegetable. Or he wouldn't have had his eye. You know what I'm saying? So you don't wish that he's gone, but I wouldn't want a handsome guy to be living like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you turn around and you get shot. I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, and we weren't able to. Well, my family wasn't able to identify the body for days because they couldn't find him.
really?
Yeah. And then we went to the police station that night when he got killed. I remember taking my mother, and the guy said, "Sorry for your loss, man." Just like it was nothing. It was like like he was shooting turkeys or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the backlash and the things they get. So, when you hear like when they had the Dallas thing, when the black guy shot the police officer and killed the black, oh man, white people outraged. Oh, that's the police. We're here to protect you. I wasn't saying that anybody should be getting killed. I mean, because I don't, I'm not about that, But at the same time, I was like, sometimes it make you feel like an eye for an eye, and that's sad that you feel like that about a human life. But there's a couple white guys that I'm friends with on Facebook. They made a whole lot of very, very negative. Because on Facebook you can say what you want. A lot of people cowards on Facebook.
Yeah, no question.
They live in double lives like R. Kelly. But at the end of the day, they made a lot of remarks, not reference to my brother, to the situation in Dallas, and I kind of lashed out, like, "Ooh, are you serious?" Like, I mean, when you get pulled over, I had 2 sons, 2 daughters. When you get pulled over, or your son or your daughter, your kid walk out, you worry about them getting pulled over. That's rough.
It's tough.
So it's rough. You don't know and they scared when they get pulled over because you don't know what's gonna happen. And as a police officer, the pen don't lie. I'm not against police officers, but yeah.
Hey, you're listening to Joe Jackson with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com. And on the other side of the break, we're going to bring in our girl, Miss Anita Asset. You got to say her name slow like that.
Y'all Jackie, y'all.
Because she over there crocheting. But you listening to the man, Lou Fowler, giving up his story. So if you got any questions on the story, any comments, feel free to make it. Lou, we really appreciate Lou for coming on and having the courage to share his story and be transparent for him and his family. We really appreciate you, man. For real.
Share my story, that McDonald's thing, all this stuff, about the young man. That's just crazy, man.
708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. This is Joe Jackson with Bob and TC. a filter, like it's a hat on your head. Look. Yeah, you buy that's your shit. You ain't see it? Welcome back to Joe Jackson with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com. Okay, my fault. They got one on Lou here. Somebody is playing games. You see, somebody's playing games on this live feed. I'm not tripping.
Don't look at it. Let's get through our business.
Okay, I won't look at it. I will stop looking at it. I will stop looking at it because I am not tripping. You know, I told you
that happens when you ride with me.
Facebook, we getting hacked. I'm
Man, that happens when you ride with me, man. You know?
Yeah, I want to keep this where she can see it, so y'all won't know I'm tripping. Watch, it's some hats that are popping on it. I'm just telling you, man, something's rigged right now. I want to give it up for my girl, man.
Let's bring it in, Bob.
Look at this. From the south side of Chicago, Illinois, let's give it up for Benita Asset in the building.
In the building.
What's going on, lady?
Hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad you was able to make it a little early so you can get to just Mr. Lewis Fowler's story. You know, I want you to first of all tell everybody who you are, where you come from, what you do, those type of things, Miss Professor.
Who are you and where are you from?
Yeah, who you about, what you from?
I'm Benita.
Benita, what's up, Benita?
Nice to meet you.
Good. We met you at the meet and greet, first of all.
Great warriors in the house with me. The word of warrior is war. The story that our good brother just told us is definitely one that, you know, there was a fight going on right there. You know, it was a fight for his life, a fight for the child that he was endangered, you know, that the police officer put in danger. And the problem is, you know, like my show, we talk about a constructive response to racism because anytime you try and fight this fight with immediate power, we just keep losing.
That's true.
So wait, let me answer your first question though. So who is Benita? Benita is a social worker and who has actively, since I was a very young child, been trying to fight this white supremacy racism. Wanted a system of justice from as far back as I can remember, like back when I was 8 and I was reading all the stories about Black history, and I went to school and I found out that, you know, the history books weren't talking about us, they was talking about them, and they only made us look bad all the time. You know, it's constant images of us looking like we're never celebrated the way they are. You know, eventually that wears on your soul. So you either take a position of, I want to be like them, I want to assimilate, I want to coon on, or I want to collaborate, right? Or you take the position of, you want to resist, you want to fight, you want to, you know, kind of like my sister Jane Cortez. I don't know if y'all ever heard that poem of hers, but she's like, look, if you keep, you know, looking this way, then you're gonna keep looking that way, like the stylized look of submission, right? I'll have to send the poem to y'all later on because I don't have it memorized, unfortunately. But anyway, so I've been that person, like basically the activist, or Benita the social worker, or Benita those who are trying to work towards those of trouble. And I'm usually that person who is fighting for things that other people are too quiet to fight for.
You said something that was very different from most of the conversations I've heard with people that were what you call have a mixed background. You said your dad is white, right? I don't know why I said it like that. I didn't mean no harm by saying your dad is white, right? Your dad's white, your mom's black, but your dad told you something to do.
My dad said you're black, don't ever forget it.
Okay. What was the
when he was maybe say in his 20s, when he first left college, and he went back to this town that he grew up in, he was sitting with a man of authority who had the authority to hire and fire people. And he was sitting there going through reviewing some applications. My dad came in to chit chat with him because, you know, my dad was a BMOC when he was in high school, you know, captain of the football team, that kind of thing. So, you know, everybody in the town, he was like the town's beloved. There's only about 1,200 people back in Texas. So you probably can get an idea.
Wow.
So, and then when he went in to chit chat with the guy slid one of the applications towards my father, and he said, "Is she?" Because at that time it was customary to submit a little small black and white picture of yourself, just so that they can decide and determine in advance whether or not you were black, so that they would know whether or not to hire you. And so he said, "Is she?" My father said she could be, and then he took the application, picked it up, and he threw it in the garbage, and they continued to chit chat. And so when my father, years later, like maybe 7 years later, after he met my mother and decided that he wanted to get married to her, and they didn't even know whether or not they was going to have children, but he had decided at that moment that if they ever had children, that they would rear their children as a black child from the black perspective, from the black perspective and from the black experience, and to recognize wholeheartedly that you're black. Because even though the woman was fair, like if it was a black and white photo of me, right? I still, because a lot of times people look at me, she can get away with this. She don't know nothing about racism. That's BS. I absolutely know, because my father never had a privileged mindset. So I was a child in the car with my father. He's rolling down the street. The cop pulls us over. And my dad's a very quiet man. And he's just sitting there quietly, not saying anything. My mother, she's like, oh, Ben, he caught you. So the fear that my mother has, a black woman, of the police, that instantly becomes the fear that we have as children now, right? Even though, like, my white father didn't say, oh, don't worry about it, I'm white, we're going to get out of this. No way. My father did not say that, right? He quietly did everything, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, to the police officer, because my dad does not look at himself as being white. Now he looks at himself as, I have a black family. And if you listen to my radio show, at the beginning of my radio show, it's actually my speaking, and I play that intro every single time, and I say, Dad, why did you rear me as a black person instead of a biracial person? He said, because the first thing a person sees is color. It's the first thing a person sees. Like that white officer who did that horrific thing to your brother, he didn't do it to him because he felt fear for his life, right? He did it to him because he was a black man, and it is his role and his responsibility to eradicate earth of black people, right? And so he takes that role very seriously. And so he used that as an excuse after the fact. Because first of all, there's all kinds of ways that he could have, he had already immobilized your brother with the mace. Right? Exactly. He didn't need to go that far. He absolutely didn't need to. He just used that as justification to say, hey, I can get away with it now because I fear for my life.
Yeah.
I want to
explain who I am.
Man, that pretty much explains
That's
very
deep.
good who
That's
you
deep.
are. Hey, Lou, I wanted to ask, because you brought something up in the midst of you telling your story. You said that the way you were raised with white friends too. Yes. And I want to say, based on what happened to your story, based off the fact that you had white friends in your life, how has this shaped your thinking, or how has it shaped you as an individual?
In reference to white people?
This whole.
Well, first of all, I think I deal with people as individuals. That's what I do. As far as my friends are my friends because, you think born in 69, you thinking back, when we first moved to Chicago and then moved to the suburbs and all that, we stayed out in Stega for a minute. That's where a lot of people were at. And we were walking to school, the elementary school, we would call niggas. And they were harassing the kids and chasing them. But the white kids that were friends of ours, that were teammates of ours and classmates of ours, they didn't operate like that. And I think that's why we still friends now. I mean, because they looked at it, they dealt with the racism too, because they were right there walking with us. Because when you're a kid, you're having fun and laughing. You're not thinking to yourself like, I'm a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, kids don't, I think kids are being taught that, I was just I drive trucks. So I was just down in Milford, Illinois, about 20 minutes south of Kankakee and about an hour and something east of I-57. And I was in that truck and I was trying to find, and the GPS was off and the satellite was off, but I can't get the GPS, but I'm sure I ain't getting out this truck. You just believe. They said, well, what's the problem? I said, hey, when you see Confederate flags, we like terrorists here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting out of this truck. So I sat in there and he had to guide me all the way from the map. So yeah, just when I see my white friends, they some good friends. They're good friends of mine. I had great relationships, with those guys and some girls, but at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, like my training, lady over me in training, she said, we are privileged and we don't even know it. We try to admit that we're not, white. So we privileged, we can mess up today and get hired.
Well, may I say, one of the greatest miraculous things that white supremacy does is to get people to think that it doesn't exist at all, period. And yeah, there's some good white people out there, right?
Right, exactly.
But the thing is that, like Neely Fuller puts it, he says that there's white, there's non-white, and then there's white supremacists, right?
Exactly.
And so then if we, and then the way when I talk to white people, I explain it to them like this. I said, look, you can't help it. You are white. But automatically being a white person, you fall into one or two categories. You're either like, basically, if you looked at it like bullying, either you the bully or you're the bystander, right? Like either you're the privileged or, you can't help it. Every white person on earth has white privilege. They just do. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to be that person who, and so some of our white friends, like we all have them, right?
Right.
They're more like the bystander types. But I very rarely do, even including my own father, very rarely do I meet a white person who stands up. They're not the bystander, right? They actually stand up and really try, and because who's giving up their privilege?
I want to. It was a comment you did a show with Roman Morrow on Drive It 5, right?
Right.
It was a comment you made on it, and I want you to elaborate on. You said fear or being scared is a tactic that's used by whites. You said that's a tactic.
Yeah, I think it's a tactic.
I want you to explain that, elaborate on that. It's a tactic.
Like, for instance, when they grab their purse on the elevator, or when they walk across the other side of the street, that's just their way of saying, okay. So if you, it really depends on whether you're that white or that white supremacist. If you're that white supremacist, they're definitely using it as a tactic. It's just their way of saying, I need to get okay, let's look at it this way. So we have immediate power, right? There's several different layers of power. There's like supreme power, there's all power, there's immediate power. And so we as Black folk, or there's inferior power. People of color only possess either immediate power or inferior power. But white folks can possess any and all of those powers if they want at any time, except for, of course, all power, because that's God or the supreme being. So anyway, so they can use inferior power, like, oh, I'm scared for myself, right? They can make up something, or they can use immediate
actions
power.
Come from here, though.
They can use immediate power. They can actually hit you, or they can decide, oh, I'm not going to hit you. Like, for instance, what if they, you're like 6'5", 300 pounds, and they're only like 4 feet, and
like his brother's situation,
like the state of Florida.
Yeah, right.
State of Florida. That's a good excuse.
So they'll use they can use. The thing is, keep this in mind, that the white folks have any and every resource available to them, like that. So I don't know. I probably would have to go back and listen to that video so I can remember the exact context that I was speaking.
You hit it on the head. I just wanted to bring the point out, because being scared is a tactic. That means I was scared. That's why I shot him. That's for interpretation. If you're a police officer under the fraternity of white, like a fraternity, white is a fraternity here in America, in a sense. If you say
religion,
I was scared. It's like all the other white people were able to.
I feel that. All right,
scared. Right. I feel that.
Exactly.
That's like it's a tactic.
I got a question.
Go ahead, sure.
Because I think this is one of the reasons why I ended up even wanting to talk about it. Ever since we had this, I like to talk about politics and religion, but ever since we had this Donald Trump in office, it's like it got out of hand immediately. It's like, okay, cool. It's okay to be the police officers and shoot people and come out and be a white supremacist and to carry your Confederate flags and, just because, like I said, I drive trucks. So sometimes I'm in these little rural towns, places that we don't go, you don't see people of color. And I see all types of signs, Trump, and then you have a gun up under it. It's a lot of stuff that's negative that we don't even know about.
But just think about it for a minute. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. You're going to just use facts, not your emotions. Let's keep it real. If we had a Black president that didn't do nothing and won't speak up for us, and they saw how we took it, don't you think it's a time for a white supremacist or capitalist to really just take over now? We see that ain't going. So now we get more, because now we have a racist president. So now we can show rallies that we don't care about them. We could do all this
how we really feel. Yeah,
they ain't president ain't do nothing. So they ain't keen do nothing to help them.
I mean, yeah, that's true. And then you watching it on camera. It's different when it's so even being on camera, it don't even matter. You can actually see it on camera.
You don't want to be honest, man. They wish. Well, I speak for myself.
Exactly.
I wish Obama had the balls of Trump.
Why?
Because a lot of things would have happened. This man Trump came out and said he was trying to set up the death penalty for any drug dealer. You telling me when they keep killing up black men like they was, these police shooting them down on camera now, the ones are just undisputable. Why he just couldn't blurt out his mouth and say, I'm gonna get a death penalty to the next police officer that get caught on camera killing someone like this. Why it gotta be their lives matter too and try to walk the fence all the time? This man came up here, became president. I don't like him. Let's be real. I don't agree with nothing he's saying, but he's saying it. So nobody can't tell me a president can't say it. Even if they decide it's not going to pass the law, he going to try to do it first, and later on they're going to vote it down. But he's speaking up to whatever.
That's true.
Whatever it is. Look how he did the football players.
Yeah.
This man's speaking on whatever he feels. I don't agree with it, but I wish we had a president that felt like black power. Let's make black people great again. Like he make white people. I wish we had a president like that.
We've had black power folk run for president. They just never get elected.
That's like, all I'm saying.
Like we had Jesse tried to run. We've also had
it's morning time.
we had our sister Shirley Chisholm. She tried to run. She's quite powerful sister. Those people do not get elected.
I know.
And Barack, absolutely, he did not run as a black president. He just ran as somebody who just so happened to be.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
He's probably scared like if he had that kind of balls that you're talking about.
He probably won't make it.
Yeah.
He's been pinched or assassinated. Please, they'd impeach him. If he pulled this, he would. If Obama pulled this stuff like for us. Because think about it, what he's speaking on for making America great again, his people, he's speaking on stuff like that. If Obama spoke on making us great like that, man, and broke these rules and all his cabinet firing and getting investigated and all that, man, he would have been impeached.
He wouldn't even been elected if his wife got posed nude.
Naked, so right. That's it. Oh, wow, you're right. You're right about that. You're right.
Flip the internet and find the first lady,
okay,
the whole first lady. You can find the whole first lady.
Bob, can I say real quick? I'm sorry. I definitely don't want to monopolize the conversation.
Yeah, we're not going to let you here on Georgia.
No, believe that too. Okay, listen. I listened to, and one of the things that he says is that if you're a person of color, you're born in a prison system. So let's utilize the prison system for the whole entire world as an analogy for what's going on with us today. So if you're a person of color and you're born in the prison system, you're instantly and automatically an inmate. That's your birthright.
What you mean by that?
And then instantly, and this is an analogy, okay, bro? All right. So the analogy that I'm using is a prison system all over the whole entire world.
Okay.
So the only people who are free to lead a prison, the only people who are free to become the correctional officers of the prison or the warden of the prison are white folk, and only white folk. All people of color are born within this prison system. So basically the point that I'm making is you're not free, right? So that's the reason why we can kind of loosely have these conversations about, well, Obama would never been able to do, or I as a black man will never be able to do, because that's just truth. That's the fact. You are born within this system, and the prison system is basically called white supremacy racism. So I'm saying that to say, if you are like, for instance, we will forever and always stay in this prison system if we continue to do things like buy loose squares from the warden. Who does that, right? If you're in the prison system, who do you get your loose squares from normally? You will go to maybe another inmate, right? Or you would try and get your girl to sneak them in for you or something like that. You're not going to go straight up to the warden and be like, bruh, white dude, holla at me. Let me holla at you right quick. Why don't you give me some loose squares? He's not going to do that. And if he does take your money, he's going to crack up laughing at you. He's like, yeah, I'll take your money, but you'll never see any loose squares from me. Right?
Right.
But I see your look. You got a puzzled look. What are you thinking, my brother?
I'm waiting till you finish.
Oh, okay.
Listen.
All right. So our Black folks can never, ever, ever be what they can be. And so the only way we will ever be free, or the only way we can ever get any kind of peace or live something like a freedom, is to do everything on our own. I don't see us, like, for instance, we can't keep buying loose squares from the warden. We can't keep shucking and jiving for them. We can't keep I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, for instance, one of the notes that I wrote down when our brother Lee was talking was, we got to stop calling the police for anything. They do not work for us. They just don't. So, like, for instance, when homegirl called the police, she got all upset with him or whatever. We need to create, I don't know if it's going to happen in this generation, maybe the next one or the next one, but we've got to get to a point where we understand that that's like calling, when you back during slavery and the dude had his walking papers, right? And they pull him over and he's like the guy, and he says, "Hey, you got your walking papers?" Right? That's like calling that dude. You trying to get from one plantation to the other so you can go spend some time with your man, spend some time with your woman or whatever, or go see one of your family members, and you get stopped by they call them police now, but back then
That's what they call them.
it was maybe the overseer or whatever. And so you get stopped by them, and that's the reason why when the police pull you over today, you know what the main question is they always ask you? You coming from work?
Where you going?
Are you coming from work? Are you coming from work? Because you ain't got no business being on earth going from your cell, your house, to the next person's cell or house unless you was going to work. Did you leave the plantation to go to the next plantation? If you did, you should have walker papers. Where's your walker papers? It's ID now.
That's a good concept.
But anyway, I've leaned back.
No, that's all good. You all right? He invited you here to do.
You on my alley, so you don't understand.
Here's the thing. I want to ask you a question. You know, first of all, like, so what's your suggestion? Your suggestion is, I want to know your suggestion. You ain't gonna give us this big old elaborate conspiracy.
No, I ain't
truism. Hold on, I call it conspiracy truism. You ain't gonna get that without giving us some approach toward because you got us men fired up. We ready to do what you say do, mama. You over here crocheting and everything else. Now you got us fired up. That the black man in me rolls up. I heard you, sister. Now, what do we do with that?
All right, my warrior, this is what we do. There's 4 different things. This is my concept. 1, I think that we need to consider each and every Black person on earth family, regardless of complexion, regardless of religion, regardless of job, regardless of location, whether you live in Africa, India, England, United States. We all want family. That's number 1. And we consider ourselves to be family. We treat each other like family, like you my brother, you my sister. That's the reason why I talk like 2. We need to, within your own little nucleus, within your cell, within your home, whatever you call it, that immediate family that you have right there next to you, whether it's your biological brother or just your roommate who's ever staying with you. When you get inside your cell, you create good family dynamics, good and healthy ways of communicating and deal with each other and teaching each other how to escape the system. You constantly, every day, you have talks about this. You never, ever, ever want to be comfortable in the prison. Each and every day, every moment of your life, you need to be trying to escape. Like, go back and watch some of these prison movies like Shawshank Redemption. He never, ever, ever stopped trying to escape. He stayed there for 20 years. He dug that hole for 20 straight years, but eventually he was free, right? So you have those conversations with your family, within the cells, within the family dynamics. And then 3, you produce rather than consume. And when you consume with Black folk. And then 4, you study the code. Right now, Neely Fuller has put out a code. If anybody else puts out a code, then we can study that too. But white folks have a code. That's the reason why they can say something, bruh, like, I feared for my life.
Exactly.
That's part of the code. It was a Black man. They don't ever, ever, ever say, I feared for my life if they shoot a white person. Those are the four points.
This is to that last point you made. It was like one of the things that I could not understand, because you said this code. This is an interesting angle. The Colin Kaepernick. It's like him taking a knee. They couldn't. It's like they can't. It's like
they're too scared. They're too scared.
Supposed to be. I'm talking about the white people who didn't understand what his gesture was, or the white people that didn't understand what the people who were saying Black Lives Matter. When people was making an analogy about Black Lives Matter, they was just like, white lives matter too. All lives matter. It's like they didn't get it. They didn't get that simple point. Like Black Lives Matter wasn't saying that white lives didn't matter. It was just saying Black Lives Matter too. Now we said that over and over again, but it was like me looking at it. It was like an unwillingness for them to understand. It was an unwillingness. It's like their mind drew a blank. Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. It's like their mind drew a blank. Like they could not get as respectful as he was trying to be. They pulled out the Army Ranger or the other military guy. They pulled the guy out of the wherever to told him why he told him to take a knee, because that would be respectful toward the military. They didn't want to hear that. It didn't even matter to them. It's like it was an unwillingness to, I don't know if it was an unwillingness to understand or a lack of, I don't know what it was.
It was two things.
But it just reminded me of a code. It's just like this code of like, what is this?
Let's be real though. If they taught our people to love their enemy, right? They taught us that. So whenever you see any kind of situation we rebel, automatically we look bad. Why do they say, when we say Black Lives Matter, the first thing, I'm not gonna insult nobody, but the first thing certain type of black people say, they bring up, we be in the hood killing ourselves. That talk right there is what enable them people to keep to even look at it like they look at it. Because first and foremost, how can they even compare? Because I don't know nobody in no neighborhood that shot somebody on a videotape, and they saw it and have the videotape. I don't know no Pookie walking no street when that happens. But when they do it with a camera, they walking.
Yes, they definitely are.
That's because they the warden, bro.
But we never understand that, in my opinion, because you like what she was saying, it makes sense to say it make sense because I believe in certain things like that. But the first part she mean by coming together, that's why once I heard that, it's like that'll never happen. Like never. Or the
Black folks coming together.
Yeah, no.
Why you think that'll never happen?
Because religion.
You think it's religion? It's more like a house in the field.
It's religion, man.
You work in the house, I work in the field.
It's religion, man.
Keep you separate.
Religion is divided, and the religion. My point is this: just break it down. Let's be real for
this is real. This is
the reason why I say it's religion is because regardless of what you have your interpretations when you read this Bible, it tells you turn the other cheek and love your enemy. That's why we as black people will be a Christian with the Klan. I don't care what you say to me. There is no way a black person should be anything associated with the Klan. But since we taught to love our enemy, if a war go down, the Christians going to ride with the Christians. So that means they might be trying to tell us not to do that to the Klan people because that's their brother in Christ. So if we ever have any kind of war, we're going to be fighting our own people and them because that's their brother in Christ. So good luck trying to bring people together because it's not going to ever happen in our lifetime. Let's get it real because religion is too strong. They've been taught, they didn't put this on our people for so many years. We still continue the traditions of people that tormented our ancestors. And we act like, well, this person didn't do it. Hold on, man. I'm not associated with nothing that killed my great-grandmama. My great-great-great-grandmama. I don't care what nobody else feel. I don't want no attachment to that. Period. That's how I feel.
Go ahead, Benita. I know you ready to jump in there. I seen your lips moving when you weren't even talking.
That is how I feel.
Her lips was moving. She wasn't even talking.
No way.
Go ahead.
Would you ever be cool with Bradley? Can Bradley? I'm sorry. I just want to question. Can that officer ever do anything that be in your favor besides admit what he did and go sit in the electric chair?
Nah.
Would you associate with yourself with anything that got to do with that man?
Nope.
That's all I want.
Let me give a few shots out real quick. Let me give a few shots out before you jump in there. Big Lou, Lewis Murray, I see you. D Money, what's up? I see you. Gary, Indiana Jones, Real Noble. Hey, what's up, man? We see you. Miss Elisa Anaz, I see you. Monique McGee. Art Russell, what's good, my man?
Big Lou.
We got people checking us out. John Bond, what's up, brother? Lee Moore, what's good?
Shout out Crystal Briggs. Shout out. Say what's up to Tracy Finnegan. What up, Trace? What up, Tanisha Brooks? She in the building. What up, Chris Go, as always. He's watching. Much love, y'all. What up, K Guns in the building? Benita.
Y'all got so many fans.
They like real.
It's only about 10 people. We just try to name them all. We just got to name them all.
You know.
We got to name them all.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to respond. When you were talking about, can you ever bring your heart to spare the person or forgive the person? The thing about, I think part of the problem is that our people never accept everything wholehearted truth. You know how they say the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? They're not accepting the whole truth of these things. Both of you brought up some examples. For instance, brother Lee, he said the field and the house. Well, I read this book by E. Franklin Frazier, and he described that we worked together as a unit during slavery, and that the house person would roll out the glass real nice and fine so that it could go inside the food to kill the master nice and slow, right? And then the examples that you used about Christianity, when you're supposed to turn the other cheek, that's actually Jesus speaking to the other Jews. That's not Jesus speaking to the Roman Empire that persecuted the Jews, right? So he's speaking on the behalf of, basically, if he was talking to us today, he would say black folk turn the other cheek on other black folk. So when homegirl was mad at brother Lee's brother, right?
That's
Lou, brother, I'm sorry, my brother. Well, brother, I called your name wrong several times. You should have interrupted me a long time ago. Lou Fowler.
He just corrected you strongly.
Yeah. Lou. So when Lou's brother Ben, right? Am I saying his name correctly,
yeah,
bro?
Saying it right.
Okay, so when Ben's girlfriend got upset with him, she should have turned the other cheek at that moment, and she shouldn't have called the enemy in to try and help the situation.
I agree with that.
So the problem is we not taking these we not reading things wholeheartedly. We listening to these Uncle Tom preachers and getting the wrong messages, interpreting those, accepting them instead of learning and accepting the real truth. And lastly, on forgiveness, the point of forgiveness, when you forgive a person, it helps you to keep moving on. Like if I hold on to this thing right here, then I'll never be able to drop it. But here's something that needs to be very well understood. There's some things that are unforgivable. And it is not up to the person to even try and forgive. It is up to society. Society as a whole should never forgive the cop for what he did to Lou's brother, right? Because if we forgive him, if we were a nation of justice, like Neely Fuller said, if you kill somebody, then you need to go be by yourself with your companion. Your companion is what you use to kill the person. And you and your companion live by yourself for months and months and months until you decide to turn that companion on yourself and kill yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, but we got a problem here in America. We got a major problem though.
We don't live in a justice.
No. We have a major problem. We have a major. Go ahead, TC. I said we got a major problem though, because what I say might change the narrative a little bit.
I remember.
We have a major problem with the fact that we are all intertwined already. Lou was talking earlier, and he was talking about the friends that he had, his white friends he had.
Exactly.
We got evidence, we got proof. You got white people in your family. You half black, half white. You on a pro-black mission, but you got white people in your family that you got to look to and you have compassion for.
I think in a system like this, my white family need to have compassion towards me and our people, but not the other way around.
My point is what it does is what it does is it all makes our judgment a little different than just cut them all off. That's a problem in America based off some of the narratives that we're saying about not to deal with them or not to affiliate with them. We have compassion in our heart for whites just off of the function of life in America, the liberated nature of America. We're dealing with white supremacy, but there's still a functional liberation that goes in America to have you running into white, Hispanic, and anybody else who will help you get to where your destiny is or wherever you're trying to go. We got people that's in our life that'll help us more than some black people that's in our life. That's a problem in America, the way America is shaped up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying whether or not you should do this or do that. What I'm saying is The white people that's in my family that helped me, I mean, that's in my life that helped me when my lights was off and they paid the bill, the white people that gave me a car without me having to pay back, that becomes a real situation in my loyalty toward who I look toward when I need something.
So do you feel indebted to all white
no,
people
I
now
don't.
because
what
of that one white
no, I don't.
nice
What
person?
I'm saying is, no, I don't. What I'm saying is the problem in America is that we're so intertwined at this spot. How do we separate the good people from supposedly the bad people all the way down a stereotypical line? How do we do that?
First of all,
that's what I'm saying.
It ain't even about them. So, first of all, they the last part we got to worry about separating from. We got to try to come together first if that was the mission. You know, so if somebody do something for you, I mean, okay, thank you. That's all you get. You don't get it. I'm not indebted to you. You know what I'm saying? You don't get no, oh my goodness, no, because the type of person I am, if I'd have did it for you. That's how you are. So, I mean, it's just that. Right. No,
it's not necessarily.
I'm not gonna. I didn't say that.
It's a loyalty. Like we are loyal to people who are loyal to us, whether you black, white, or anything.
Everybody's loyalty is different, but
so your loyalty more loyal to somebody black because they black.
No, what are we saying, bro?
I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying because I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Okay, well, whatever we saying, I'm just saying that there's an issue that's going on in America when somebody throws you an opportunity to better yourself in life, and you got an evaluation you got to make to better yourself. And whoever provide the opportunity is like, if it ain't compromising your integrity, you may make the adjustments to walk in the opportunity. You become loyal to people who give you opportunity.
No.
The liberty of America making that an issue is what I'm saying.
No, but who be seeking what you saying?
That's like, not your right when you break interpretation. You just speaking on what you think the world is.
I think what the world in America is right now is this. This is what the world. Anytime you have a black president, right, and the majority of the people in this country is white, so majority of the people voted for a black guy. Race, whether we say America's racist, we talking about a systematic of racism. But you go through all of these states throughout the United States, you find white states that are predominantly white that voted for President Obama. I said the issue of what we're talking about and some elements of what we're talking about is not getting addressed with some people's hearts that don't feel like what we're talking about on this panel. But what do we do with that issue?
First of all, you must identify what's going on. Of course, a lot of white people vote for Obama. They saw him coming.
But they don't.
The man Reverend, he's dissociated anything to black in order to win. So he saw he was easy to conform. Yes, he did. And he stayed loyal because they vote for me. So forget us and brought in gays and race and all other stuff and not us. Let's be real for a minute. If you're a white dude and this dude sound like me, But if he sound like somebody that could compromise and go to Africa and set that stuff up, and now they're over there bombing it because he's the only one that in there. If we know we'll get him to do our work, yeah, we're gonna vote for him because they saw him coming. He was not that. They just keep it real. He was a better Jamaican, Nigerian, whatever it was, father. African Kenyan father, white mother, no disrespect. Okay. He's a great man. I'm not knocking him, but if you're talking about for us, no, and people don't want to accept it because we so trained in tradition to believe this garbage that was put on us to bring us down, to keep us in fear. But we don't want to deal with it. Why? Same reason why the black family like it is now. We don't have, all we was trained to do is to do what we got to do to survive in this system. That's all we got to do is get ours. That's all we've been taught. Master did this. So it's not a shock that the ones that do make it out don't reach back, because that's how we've been trained. So until we stop the training, which is still listening and practicing a religion that your oppressors put on you, and you think it was a blessing.
Okay, what I'm trying to say.
So I'm just saying that's why we did separate. That's what I'm saying. We'll never get together
Syria,
till we get to that.
Right?
Yeah.
Trump bombed Syria.
Bush bombed people.
My point is, there's all of us that make up that military. All of us gonna end up losing lives in this. All of us. Now,
you sign up in the military. No, I'm not gonna lose my life. Whoever signed for the military is supposed to fight, so you don't get no compassion. When it's time to war, if the president said go do your thing, until he go draft some people that didn't sign up to fight. You took an oath when you came in the military, right? Am I right?
What I'm saying,
the president bombed somebody, innocent people.
No, what I'm saying is that's what makes up our military. All of those what you call free will decisions.
Right.
That's how America is.
So what
I mean, that's the heart of us.
Innocent people dying, saying.
No, that ain't what I said. That ain't what I said. I'm looking at all of the military, the sports industry. This is what makes us all up. We are all intertwined, whether we want to be or not. We are intertwined. I'm trying to figure out from our platform of talking about this racial situation, what do we do when we are so intertwined like this?
I got an idea.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, I told you,
we are
recondition your brain to don't believe that it's a big thing of fire down there that's gonna burn you if you don't be right. Understand what fears are, okay? And once we recondition our mind, if we have the heart to recondition our mind and just wake up to reality, whatever you want to call it, what you want to believe in, we have documentation of Christian people destroying our people.
And what I said was, this is what I said, TC.
Our brain,
TC,
we never get right.
TC, we on the same page, brother. We trying to find solutions.
That's the solution.
No.
Recondition our brain.
This is what the statement I made when I first brought it up. The statement I made was, when opportunity is given, when somebody's swearing to the military, in their mind, they're swearing in because there's opportunity there. That's why they swearing in. They thinking about going to college. They ain't necessarily thinking about sacrificing their life. They know that's a part of that.
I don't believe that.
No,
Bob.
I'm saying that's a part of getting to the opportunity a lot of times.
Because you sit up here and read it word for word and you recited it.
Right.
You would die for that flag. You would die for that country. So don't never make
that's the risk to get to opportunity. Right,
so they know though.
It's a risk. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the opportunity they're chasing. They got to go through the risk to get to the opportunity. So right. in America, we are chasing opportunity all the way across the board. Whether you're going to school, whether you're in the military, we're chasing opportunity. We are all in an intertwined agreement on chasing opportunity, regardless of the risk. Some people may not have to take as many risks as the other people. True. I'm saying with that fact in place, how do we push forward for what Ms. Benita was talking about?
I have the answer.
Okay, I want to hear it.
All right. So you make a very good point, both of you. Chasing opportunity, the loyalness. The problem is that we as a people, not just you, me, you, and you, the problem is that our number one focus is not justice. So, for instance, if our number one focus is justice, even if you could make it to the presidency and you know that almost all white people voted for you, you would not be loyal to the white people. Go back to your point. If your number one focus was justice, because you would say right now in this particular country, those who need the most help are not white people, they're black people. So I will give and throw support to black folk who are being oppressed, like black folk who are being killed by the police for no reason. That's justice, right? Mm-hmm. Going back to your point, TC, about Christianity, right? If the Christianity is constantly being something that is going to harm or mistreat or dominate our people in a negative way, or try and misconstrue the words in order to push people into doing something that is not just, then they shouldn't do it. It's very, very simple, but it is not easy because it's not happening. It's not going on. But if people were just, meaning, and just, the definition of justice is balance between people and things, giving people, those who need the most help, get the most help. It's that simple.
You know what? I want to add to something because, through the whole time with President Obama being president, it was 8 years. I think we as a people, I don't really think we got comfortable, in the beginning. Oh, we got a black president. They jumping around on the west side and doing see it all over the world.
I cried.
I mean, I get it. I'm not taking it because our people, it's the first time my grandparents went through a lot of, our ancestors went through a lot. But at the same time, I feel like no disrespect to President Obama, much love, but he extended Link, public housing, all the type of stuff, things that kind of made it a crutch, in 8 years. One thing he did do was he made it where you can go extend your education. But a lot of people, they didn't, what you gonna extend your education for when you got a $300-400 link card and you can go eat whatever you want and just chill out and live on Section 8 and don't have to pay nothing. It's like those people in 8 years, they got comfortable with it. Now reality is here. It's not anymore of that. It's back to reality. It was like it was a front to a degree. We got comfortable seeing a black guy and his wife, who to me they made her beautiful. She wasn't that beautiful, but they made her beautiful. Oh, she's so beautiful. Hey, money will make you look good.
Beautiful.
I know what you're saying. You understand what I'm saying? You take a picture from the beginning and you go to now. Hey, she's hot now. But I'm saying in the
swag on this.
He came in looking a little homely. I'm just saying, in the end, she was gorgeous. When people cried, they're gonna miss her. And when it was time for them to leave, I didn't even break my neck to go home and watch it because I knew reality was coming. They put these blinds up over our eyes, and we rolled with it for 8 years. And a lot of people didn't take advantage of that, getting you better in your education or trying to get themselves together. They just rolled with it. As soon as Donald Trump got in, that link card got cut down. All those programs that would help you. The feds come in Chicago. Just think about it. Guns in Chicago. You had what? Kids get shot. Shot 17 people at a school. Left there, went to Walmart, ate some Subway, then went to McDonald's, and then left and walked down the street. Nothing happened to him. Nothing. But then you got a boy with a cell phone. Get shot 20 times in the backyard. It's like, back to reality. This is where we are. They just got super aggressive. We were comfortable for 8 years. Basically what I'm saying.
How much does
that happen during the 8 years?
Exactly. The mic, darling. Get in the mic.
Exactly.
That happened during the 8 years.
But at the same time, everybody was so comfortable. All they was only thing they were really looking at is how sharp he was and how he spoke, and he was smooth.
He was shucking and jiving in the prison.
Who was?
Wow.
Who was?
You little bad. Who was shucking and jiving? He was bad. I'm not for saying kill a man.
No,
I'm not gonna kill him.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
the man just wasn't one of us. That's all. He wasn't one of me.
He had to go with the program.
TC, the point that I'm making.
I'm just saying.
We hard.
Listen, the point that I'm making, TC, is if you look at it from the perspective of the analogy of us being in a prison system, that prison system called white supremacy. Now, a lot of black people will stand up for him and say, well, what'd you expect him to do? He's still a black man.
I don't believe that.
And what I expect is justice. I expect each and every one of us, each and every opportunity you get, to use all of your energy, all your resources for every moment of the day to pursue justice and never, ever stop until we're all free. And especially if you're the president.
This is one thing that I don't. One of the things that I could say from President Obama President Obama had made the adjustment based on his mother positioning him to compete, period. Like him being able to compete. Now, it could have been a whole bunch of things that I could have got or desired President Obama to do. But he showed me a black man could compete on that next level.
Yeah, he did.
That's what he showed me. He showed me, and as a man, I cannot think of it no other way than to show me how to be positioned to get opportunity.
Well,
as a man,
I don't even.
To me, I'm just saying, as a man, to me, I think sometimes we get caught up in this victim sounding so much that we no longer sound like men. I need to be positioned to make decisions. We don't sound like men no more. We always looking around for somebody else to do something. No, just show me the position where I can be liberated and compete. And I'm gonna stand up. and I'm gonna stand up. And sometimes when we get to attacking Obama or get to putting our comments on him, we don't sound like men to me.
No, we just talking to the president.
Man, let's be real for a minute, man. How you gonna compete with Obama when he got a whole white side of the family? So until you want to keep it real, let me show me a black man and a black woman from the city of Chicago that made it up. They ain't all bad and educated. Then we can show you compete, because when you got a whole other side of family, you can't act like that didn't help them.
Well,
you can't act like that. So how you gonna show you how to compete when you got advantage? If that's the case, tell me they white privilege. So they got advantage. He had an advantage.
Example is, we got to always look at the example of people that are in position to compete. That's what we need to emulate. You always need to emulate success, period. If we don't sound like we don't fall in love with emulating success, that's why we can't look back at the stories of Thurgood Marshall and say that's an example of why we can be a judge. Or, that's why we got to stay at that level, period. As to me, I'm not even talking about success. I'm talking about as men.
Well,
as men. As men. I'm talking about
So hold on, you got to be in Obama to be successful. Like, why are you not successful right now, bro?
Like, as far as what?
I mean, just the
simple fact. Successful.
My definition of success, because Obama not a success to me.
No,
that's not that's not a path I even want to follow. I'm just saying real about it. What I mean by that is this: when you get it, my person that I would want to that cause success is somebody who actually get in that position and have the heart to do something for us. And don't be scared to make it seem like you doing too much for the black people, because you gotta be. I ain't saying you gotta give them a handout. That's not what I'm saying. But if the president of the United States really would have stepped up and said something about to these police officers what they did.
I just don't want to make Obama no side joke. Like there was no real legitimate success in what he did. I don't want to turn his presidency into something. He could have did more. Like okay, if he couldn't do more because of maybe the white part of his family, you saying that the loyalty he come in his family, that's okay. Okay, he was limited to our expectations. We expected him to
why
be
is that a success?
What I'm saying, look at him like that based on what he was capable of doing.
What he had to do it. See that I'm saying? See, everybody different, and I ain't mad at that. But it's certain things I'm not gonna do to try to make it over there.
Obama used to listen to Reverend Wright. Reverend Wright didn't used to just He used to listen to Reverend Wright. Now, I'm using Reverend Wright as an example.
But he kicked Reverend Wright to the curb to the side when he thought that it was
it wasn't advantageous for him to be associated with this man in order to win the president.
Okay, that's right. And I agree with not doing that. But was Reverend Wright a little extra?
No, he was unapologetically black. That's all he is.
No, when he was like, we came like this. Now, President Obama trying to run for president, Reverend Wright on side like Barack knows if he don't say what he need to say, I'm gonna come after him. That's extra. Hold on, bro. I'm doing something right here, right now. I'm not saying he wasn't keeping it real. That's like you bringing up something you know about me based on what I'm doing on this radio show.
Right.
TC, don't be extra right now. Keep it real. You know a little too much.
What I will say, like with my man, remember, let's keep it real. Earl of Witness. When you said you may rather let people laugh for the rest of his life, remember that Earl, that show? Well, Bob said, I need me some, digging, the rest of my life I can't be out. My man said laughter.
Right.
I was on the show, like we had our little nose.
Right. Based on what we know.
Right, but we ain't never, because we not like that.
Well, you said it. You let everybody know.
But the point I'm making.
Hey, you talking about laughter, Bob? What are you talking about, man? I know you back in the day. You used to like sex, basically. That's what you said on the show.
We cool.
Okay, now.
And they cool. So you want to be mad at me? I'm going to diss myself. Hey, TC, because you're doing too much. I'm trying to be on Internet Radio right now.
No. I've evolved into what I am now.
Oh, wow.
You bringing up what I used to be.
That's how we talk to them. If they cool like that, that's how they talk.
That to Reverend Wright and Obama.
Right.
Obama owns something right now. He owns something now.
He's saying President Obama was being phony. That's basically what he's saying.
Basically because he wasn't what Reverend Wright was identifying. That's my point.
If you talk to me one way,
well, they said too. Right? Even like with Minister Farrakhan. I never seen them like him and President Obama. Sitting down and having a conversation about anything. I mean, why is that?
Who? Obama and
Farrakhan. He too radical.
I mean,
he speak the truth.
Yeah. Well, see, the reason we mentioned
pro-black.
Jeremiah Wright is because Obama was a member of
his church, of course, but he stopped going to the church.
And that's the point I'm making. I'm not knocking nobody. Let's be real for a minute.
It's religion, ain't it? You have your own religion and stop going to church.
So,
but Lou, it's not that he didn't have a right to make some changes in which church he wanted to go to.
That's true.
The whole reason why he stopped going was because, like TC said, it was disadvantageous towards his
pursuit of presidency.
His pursuit.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
You good with the words, bro.
That's what
Thank you very much.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't mean it like that. I
need you in my life.
So basically saying, so since I'm on my way to do this, I got to cut a couple of y'all people off. That's what a lot of black people do when they start.
They're gonna be successful.
And that's what TC is saying.
Michael Jordan type guy.
Yeah, you successful when you can still honor who you really truly are. If you really believe, like for instance, if all of a sudden some white person come up to me and be like, "Look, if you join the Klan, then we will give you $1 million." That would be
$1 billion show.
That'd be 100% against me as a person, right?
That's like slavery, though. Africans.
Some people do it though. Some people change
that. But that's just like
and enslaving themselves to white people.
That was just like Tavis Smiley. Remember when President Obama was running for president, and Tavis Smiley came out because President Obama did make his black event in New.
He had.
He didn't make it. Whatever reason, like Obama may not have felt like that was a good move at the time, whatever reason. But Tavis Smiley and Cornel West got more aggressive with their expression of it, like brother Barack, and almost spent the whole presidency trying to knock down what this man, whatever reason why he said, "I'm gonna send my wife." I don't want your wife, brother. I want you, and all that type of thing. What I'm saying is, sometimes we do not know how to identify what.
Why you gonna send his wife?
I agree with that.
Right, bro.
No. The point is, sometimes we do not know how to identify when a man may hit his limits, when it's our turn to grab in there and take over somewhere else. That's my point as a man.
We don't know what you're doing that, Bob. Look what you're doing to do it, though. Look what you're saying you're doing to do it. We want you to be successful.
We won't.
TC talk too much. You gotta push TC to the side.
No. What I'm saying is, we cannot take Obama and think Obama is the answer to all. Obama is an example.
That's true.
To show you where you can get.
That's true.
And everybody got to jump in. All the men.
Everybody
got to jump in.
But look what he had to do to get there, Bob. It's not a success story. I don't care. I don't care who comes to me. Well, I'm not a man. Breakfast Club coming here with Charlamagne be like, TC, we want you on our show. Bob ain't coming. I ain't going. I don't care. Forgive me. Okay. Forgive me. I ain't cutting my people.
Plug yourself, Miss Bonita. Plug yourself real quick.
I can't believe it's over already. We need to do this for like another 3 days straight.
Oh, that was good.
Come on.
I'm glad I came.
Plug yourself.
Okay, I'm Bonita Osset, and my show is One Drop Elopes every Sunday, 12 noon Central. Please check me out here on IntellectualRadio.com.
Lou,
I appreciate y'all letting me have the time to tell my brother's story, something I never talked about. I'm happy, Jaw Jacking Radio. Y'all let me come out here and tell a story that I wouldn't even share. I was kind of scared to share, fearful to share. But I just want to give a shout out to my family, all my people in Texas, Austin, Texas, my Chicago people, Fowlers, Russells, my son, and there's zero doubts. I had to give a shout out to him to give him a shout out. He got zero doubts going on. So thank everybody in my family.
A few quick shout outs. Some people listening: Vera Giles Norris, Velda Coleman, Robert Hazel Harris, Valerie Griffith, Tina Butler, Michael Hardiman, Cello Stevens,
Michael Hardiman,
Tanisha Brooks, that beautiful, Melly Mel, Rudy Scott, Odell Bell, Havana Young McCaskill, Philanda Wilson. I gotta work on my.
I say to everybody else. What up to my cousin Milwaukee Shine, man. Good look at cuz. You know how we do a Shine level. Mimi, what up, dog? What up, Brick? What up, Ebony? Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the shares. Good show. We had a good little thing today, y'all. You know how me and Bob do. We love each other.
Thanks for listening to Jaw Jacking with Bob and TC on IntellectualRadio.com with our special guests in the building, Miss Bonita Osset and my man Lou Fowler. Man, let's give it up. Thank you for listening to Jaw Jacking with Bob and TC
on IntellectualRadio.com.